I'll go with that.
Okay.
So first of all, my kids are older than I am now.
How did
I think
that
everybody's
happen?
older than you are now.
It's like they are now older than I am. That's just the truth, okay? So, but being a parent of adult children is a different ballgame. And it's really takes some special, stopping and thinking and recognizing what their needs are now and what my needs are now, and that they no longer need me the same way, and I don't have to continue to think that I need to save them in any way, or I need to make sure they're happy. I'm not responsible for their happiness in life. I'm not responsible for how their lives turn out. I'm not responsible to save them when, they can't pay their rent or blah, 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 blah. And that's been a real adjustment for me. And so I love it because I'm not responsible, and yet on the other hand, I notice within myself this need to still want to make sure they're happy in life. And so that's kind of shifted into just letting them know how much I love them, and spending time with them and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think I was saying to Sarah a little bit yesterday, the leaving the nest thing. I love being a mom, and I always knew I wanted to be a mom. I always, that was what I wanted in life. I wanted a college education because I loved to study and learn, and I was a good student and all. But I wanted to be a mom, and in '89. No, let's see. Give me the dates, dear. When did we leave New Orleans? '89. Okay. Daniel and Sarah had graduated from college and were at LSU.
High school.
In high school. They were at LSU in Louisiana. We were in New Orleans. And he got a job offer in Maryland. We both got hired because we both worked for the same company in New Orleans, and we got hired by the same publishing company in Maryland. And we were going to live in Virginia. So I had to leave 2 kids behind. I mean, they were only an hour away in college. And Lori was starting her senior year in high school. And I didn't talk about it a lot. I didn't express much emotion about it or anything, but leaving those 2 kids behind and heading off across country where they're not going to be able to run home and visit and keep up, and we didn't have the internet yet, and so forth and so on. That was very difficult for me. Fortunately, Lori was with us 1 year before she headed to college. And then there's an adjustment that takes place in a marriage when the kids all leave. And that was, for me, it was difficult because the kids and raising kids and running the family and so forth was a big part of my life, even though, I worked outside the home after we moved to New Orleans. I wasn't, and then they never lived near us. So I couldn't be involved in their lives where when you have kids near you, there's the phone, there's letters. But I really, really missed that for a number of years after they left home. It was a very big adjustment for me. And then you just hope for the best. You know what you went through and all your struggles, all the lessons you learned. They've got to learn them now, and hopefully they'll call when they need help and need some advice or need guidance. I don't even remember how much I was in touch with them by phone or anything. I remember when Sarah, before we left New Orleans, Sarah decided she was going to move to California. And we're on the front porch steps after, I think, 1 semester of college. She came back home to New Orleans and lived for a semester and work. Then she decided she was going to move to California, establish residency, and go to college out there. And the morning she left home, and she had her little car and all packed, and we're standing on the front porch, and I think Lori and I are clinging to each other and bawling, and she heads out, just like she's heading out. As far as, for me, it felt like she's going to go cross the Oregon Trail and cross the continent, and go deal with it like a pioneer or something, all by herself. And that was very emotional for me.
Yeah, today we can just get a hold of anybody at any time. That wasn't the case back then. That was.
No, I told you got to call me every night when you get into the motel. You got to call me every night, Got to know where you are. What's the name of the motel? What's the phone number, We didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
It was a total different world to have a kid just take off like that. Anyway, it's a big transition for me.
So I want to share that my two oldest kids, when they took off to the Netherlands, the Northwest, that they were very clear when they called me that, Mom, I'm going to tell you something now. I just want to share. You don't need to fix anything, Mom. There's nothing wrong. But at the end of the conversation, Mom, I want you to say, I know you can do this. I've got confidence in you. That's all, Mom. Now, can I talk?
Yay, Deborah!
Wow, that's a nice setup.
Frame the conversation.
Yeah.
Was that from your S training? Reform training?
No, that was, I did that one anyway out of my graduate work. I was like, there is this thing called healthy boundaries, and I was starting to really learn about it and how you take care of yourself. And one of the things that I knew is that this is what I wanted to hear specifically and what I needed. And so for my self-care, I was asking for that.
Yeah.
I remember dropping Kimberly or going up with Kimberly.
Can I add something?
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, Dan.
Not yet.
Hello?
Right, thanks for sharing.
Okay, we have a poor connection sign here, so I don't know how much is getting through.
Yeah, we're here
We
again.
can hear you.
Anyway, when my kids got old enough to leave home, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Now we can't.
Then it dropped out again.
I was then confronted with,
When his kids left home.
what kind of relationship are we going to have from now on? I wanted a different relationship than I'd had with my dad, and so I tried to work around. Do we become friends, dad and kids? Do we? How close do we stay together as family? Do we try to walk through life's ups and downs kind of together, encouraging one another?
Yeah.
No guidebook for it.
Yeah,
So,
no guidebook.
My heart's just always we would be a team, and it's worked out in some ways that way, in other ways it's not as much as I hope.
Yeah. And you're still doing it.
Oh, we're doing it.
Amen.
Right. Okay, John.
Well, a couple things. Kim was only 4 when we divorced, and so I didn't raise Kimberly per se. I was always available to her, and we talked every week on the phone at least, and then so I was a weekend dad mostly. But I do remember taking her to college at Kansas, University of Kansas, and seeing her up there on the steps of the sorority that she had just joined, Chi Omega, and just saying, wow, she is now, an adult, and she's on her own. She's going to create her own reality and her connections and network of friends and people and school and education, got a business degree, went on to get a law degree. So, I'm just so proud of my daughter and what she's done for herself, with herself, how she is related to her husband, Brandon, how she relates to her boys. So there's that, my great pride in her and how, and you, Kimberly, and how you've handled your life. Now, the other thing I want to say is, someday, you all may not believe this, but you 10 will probably someday, when we're dead and gone, are going to sit up here and be able to speak to whatever it is that was your truth or whatever happened to you. It's going to happen. I remember in reunions past, and the elders would get together, and it's like, and I didn't pay any attention. They were all mom and her sisters and brothers were sitting around talking, and they were just the old fogies, and we were out having fun doing stuff. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get to be 70
Craig.
years old, folks.
Well, you weren't always an elder, John?
No, I was not always an elder.
And I would like to add that kind of back to what Brandon had asked, and I can't repeat the question, but a lot of this stitching together of the 4 of us in our lives is so amazing. We had first the international experience, then we all had the ambassador experience. I mean, that is really unusual. We never would have dreamed that. Mom got into that my senior year in high school. Mary and I would talk about it, and we thought, this is nuts, We were raised Episcopalians, who wants that, And then we all wound up, when they divorced, we took Mom's side and we go, okay, let's go have this adventure, so to speak, Let's go see what this is all about. So we had that shared experience. But I really do think it was the teamwork that our father taught us that helped stitch all that together. And then always, and I know Gary has remarked to me about this over the years, he has been so amazed at the relationship between the four of us. He's never known a family of siblings who could have such different ideas and be such different people and get along and respect each other. And this is why when we started reunions, I think the first time we all four could get together was at Mom's in '76. Sometimes three of us would be together.
At Mom's or Dad's?
Mom's in
Moms,
'76, because
yeah.
Mary
Big
wasn't
Sandy.
there in '75 at Dad's. It was
Oh.
just three of us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So that was the first time we were married and had kids. And I can't remember if we actually consciously talked about it, but certainly after that reunion, we knew we wanted to get our children, the 10 together, and raise them and try to pass on to them the best of what our parents had done for us and how they brought us up. And we deliberately wanted to try to stitch you 10 together so that you would feel more like siblings than just cousins. And we, of course, very much hope that you will continue this and pass it down through the generations.
But Kimberly still doesn't like camping. No, I took
Put her
her
in a tent
camping.
and she's not happy?
No, Dad. I don't like camping in tents and cooking out and going over to this spider-laden.
What about
Out.
glamping, Kimbo? Do you
Restroom.
like
I
glamping?
haven't tried glamping, but
It's not a
Don't
big
you
thing.
take your boys camping?
No.
we take the boys camping once a year because our school